Hello and welcome to the Daily Mail for Sunday, the 31st of July 2022. We've got some more post-match comments about yesterday's amazing 2-0 home win against Stoke City. And then we're going to end the video with looking at the stats from that game and how Alex Mitchell got on loan. So let's just jump into it. This is from londonnewsonline.co.uk. The four takeaways from Millwall's 2-0 win over Stoke. Cresswell has a den dream, and O'Neill's post-match verdict was questionable. Millwall started this championship season with a 2-0 win over Stoke City on Saturday. Here are Richard Corley's four takeaways from the match in SE16. Wow, I've never seen that. I haven't seen that. Is that a new training top? I didn't see that. That looks good as well, no? That looks pretty tidy, that training top there. I have not seen that before. That looks utterly fantastic. So, anyway. Dream debut for Charlie Cresswell. The Leeds United youngster would probably have started yesterday's match on the bench if Sean Hutchinson had been fit. True. But instead, Cresswell came in on the right of the Lions' back three and scored his first goals at senior level. His first goals ever. Not just his first goals for Millwall. It was absolutely no surprise that Millwall's first goal of the campaign came from set piece, and the England under-21 international attacked George Honeyman's corner brilliantly, with Stoke keeper Joe Bursick motionless as the ball hit the back of the net. Cresswell's second was taken with real aplomb, lashing home on the volley from the Scott Malone corner, just seconds after Bursick had tipped over his header. Millwall are going to carry a huge threat from any dead ball deliveries in and around the opposition box, with Jake Cooper, Murray Wallace and Cresswell all looking to attack them. The Lions were worthy winners indeed. Stoke manager Michael O'Neill claimed afterwards that only set pieces settled the championship opener and that he did not feel there was a huge amount in the game. Well, we'll get on that in the stats based on how many shots each side had, so prepare for that. But that could just be a boss who's already under pressure trying to ease criticism. Yeah. This basically, he was moaning about the team he had, how he had all these players that were left over from the previous time and they couldn't get rid of them because the wages too high. Well, they've gone now, and you've signed players that you wanted signed, and now it's really on him now. The pressure is on. About the only moment of concern for the Lions was when Tyrese Campbell's low shot from the edge of the penalty area threatened to scrum under Bartosz Białkowski. Referee Keith Stroud indicated instantly to the visiting players that the goal line technology indicated that the ball had not fully crossed over the line. But aside from that, Mill's back five all won their battles. New Stoke signing Dwight Gale was hooked before the hour, marking a low-key debut. Mill created significantly more after the restart. Ben Kofobi produced a deft turn to go past Ben Wilmot and send a fizzing curler over the bar, while Bursick also just did enough to parry Tom Bradshaw's shot. Bradshaw also converted a screamer, only for the assistant ref's flag to curtail his celebrations. Yeah, apparently that was for offside on Billy Mitchell. A lot of player fans are not really knowing what they thought it was for the foul on the player because one of their players was on the floor. No, it was for offside on Billy Mitchell. Top of the league. Okay, there are 45 games left to go and 135 points left to play for, but you have got to get your enjoyment where you can, and plenty of Millwall fans were taking delight from the fact that their side are top at this most embryonic of stages. That's a nice word there, embryonic. There is expectation this season that the Lions can be even more in a promotion chase, and you could even tell from the noise generated at the Den on Saturday, both just before kickoff and during the match. Yeah, 15,000, crowd of 15,000 there. That's very good. Very, very good. I think they were saying before, anything like 12,000 is good for them. So 15 is brilliant. Lions boss Gary Rowett admitted afterwards that the atmosphere helped his team start with real energy and pep, also aided by the fact that he had three terriers in Billy Mitchell, Jamie Shackleton and George Honeyman in the middle of the park. New season but same impressive home form. Only Fulham and Bournemouth, last season's top two, collected more points at home than Millwall in the 21-22 campaign. The Lions have won 8 of their last 10 matches in SE16 with only one loss, and including the end of last season, have won 4 on the spin at the Den Fortress. Full stop. Indeed. So the real test of what we are, how good we are, what we're going to do this season, and if there are any tactical changes in how we're playing away games, will be next week at Sheffield United. Sheffield United haven't played yet. They're playing Watford away tomorrow night, Monday night. We play on Tuesday. We've got a cup game, but I'm sure there will be. I think we're allowed to have 8 changes, something like that. They keep changing the rules, so I don't know. I think it's 8. But so we were allowed to change 8 players, or maybe you have to have 8 players from the previous squad. I'm not too sure. Either or, we can change it a little bit, but they're trying to stop wholesale changes, which is understandable. But we don't really have that many players to change. I would imagine George Long will go and goal for the Cambridge game. Maybe Isaac Loffey, maybe even Tobolodge might play or just be on the bench. Would be good to see that, because it is Cambridge United. They're a team in the bottom of League One, really. Not all that. So, good test for them. But with the game on Saturday against Sheffield United, if we do well in that, if we even win it, I mean, come on. If we go 2 out of 2, 1 home, 1 away, 2 wins, the optimism is going to be off the charts. It's going to be incredible. So we've just got to wait and see about that. But it does look good so far. And we'll get into the stats later on about how many shots Stoke had and how many shots Millwall had. So you can see how that was a well-deserved win. So we've got some comments. And this is from news@den.co.uk. It's from Murray Wallace. Praising up, bigging up big man Charlie Cresswell. Murray Wallace praised teammate Charlie Cresswell for his debut brace against Stoke City. The Leeds United loanee scored from 2 corners to help the Lions secure a 2-0 win on the opening day of the campaign. Alongside Wallace, he was also part of the back 5 that kept a clean sheet against the Potters, rounding off a highly impressive performance in his first competitive match for the club. He was brilliant, Wallace said after the game. I think they obviously look at Coops and see him as the main threat, and unselfishly, a lot of times he took a lot of the defenders away to leave the space for me and Cressy. And Cressy was a real danger. He probably could have had another. That's 2 brilliant goals for him, and what a start. He's obviously buzzing. I was just speaking to him and asked him if it was his first professional goal, and it was. I was saying to him about Danny McNamara, how he was waiting on his first professional goal, and 2 came along at the same time. He scored 2, and he probably could have had 3 for the perfect hat-trick. I'm sure he'll score plenty more goals this season. His attitude is excellent, a young lad. The way he approaches things are excellent, and you can see his composure on the ball today. He's aggressive, everything you want from a centre-back. Obviously, fans love an aggressive player. We've seen it today with the likes of Shax and Honeyman. They fly into tackles, and the fans love it. Wallace is renowned for his goal-scoring ability, having found the back of the net 6 times in all competitions last season. However, he admits that he'll need to improve in front of goal if he's to keep up with his new teammate over the course of the campaign. He's straight out of the blocks. He's putting a bit of pressure on the rest of us, Wallace chuckled. Thankfully, it's a long season, so hopefully I'll have time to catch him up. Indeed, indeed. We also have, obviously, the comments from the Stoke boss. So let's see what he's chatting about. This is from news@den.co.uk as well. Stoke boss comments on Millwall set pieces. Michael O'Neill admitted that his side were aware of Millwall's strength from set pieces ahead of their clash at the Den. The Stoke City manager was disappointed with the fact that his side failed to learn from their mistakes, allowing Charlie Cresswell to score a debut brace from 2 corners to hand the Lions a 2-0 win. The Leeds United loanee had enough chances to score a hat-trick, having forced goalkeeper Joe Bursick into a brilliant point-blank save just before scoring his 2nd goal of the afternoon. Although Millwall had the 2nd best record from set pieces in the Championship last season, O'Neill voiced his frustration at how his side struggled to defend the Lions' corners throughout the match. "We did a lot of work on that, he claimed after his side's defeat. "We picked the team with that in mind. If I'm honest, in terms of the personnel that we played and in terms of the defence's choices in particular, we felt that we went experienced in the middle of the pitch and players that we felt could compete. And I think we did that. I'm not concerned about that aspect. It feels like when you lose the game that it was the deciding factor. The deciding factor was that we didn't do our jobs right at set pieces. We changed the markers at half time because we were concerned about it. We look at that again. We've used markers in a semi-zonal system, so there's different areas. In terms of defending set pieces, I'm not sure that we have any other personnel in the building that would have given us any added strength in that situation. That's the disappointing aspect of it. We knew that we'd have to deal with Jay Cooper in particular, but obviously it was the other lad, Cresswell, that was a threat. He found the space in behind. We got blocked. If you're a marker, you can't get blocked. Ultimately, when you look at the second goal, it's just a volley. It's not a header, actually. For him to get a volley in that area of the penalty area, it's very disappointing. He's Northern Irish, by the way, not from India. That was my little spin on that. So, just taking a piss because he's a manager of an opposition team. So, please allow me that moment of indulgence. So, we're going to move on to stats now. If you're not interested in that, thank you for watching. But if you are, stick around and be mildly bored to death. So, this is from infogol.net. We got the XG in the middle, 1.16 for Millwall and 0.38 for Stoke. We had more chances than they did. This is a shot map. What is a shot map? It plots the shots on a map. I mean, it is what it is. It says on the tin. The bigger the circle, the better the chance, basically. So a penalty would be a massive circle because this is one-on-one. It's a point-blank shot. You got a good chance of scoring that. And as you can see here, this is for the 90 minutes. So Stoke had, count them here, 1, 2, 3, 4 shots in 90 minutes. And we had all of these. I'm not going to count them. But you can see, like, come on. Much better team. We were bombarding them all game. And if we look, so obviously the 2 goals that were scored, the stat is the second one. The bigger circle is the second one that Cresswell scored with his feet, because he literally ghosted into a gap and just side-footed it, bang, point blank into the goal. And that was the only way you could have missed that, is if you leant back too much and it would have went over the bar, or if you hit it straight at the goalkeeper, which luckily he didn't. And the header was actually more of a less easier, harder chance. Only 5% chance of that going in. So what that means, for every 100, 5 of those would go in. But if you look, most of our chances are inside the penalty area. So obviously something going on there, because only 2 were outside. George Honeyman on the 45th minute, Scott Malone on the 57th minute. And if we compare that first half, so obviously not all that in the first half, even though we did score. But look at this. This is Stoke in the first half. They had 1 shot. The one that nearly went past Bart Biakowski, he saved it and then it rolled behind him. And he just kind of clawed it. It was halfway over the line and he just clawed it back. Thank God for that. That was the only shot on goal that they had in the first half. So we clearly much better than them. Second half, we carried on doing same old. Most of our stuff was in the area. They had a couple in the area. They had, the best chance they had all game was the one right at the end with Brown, right in injury time. But yeah, not much going up front for Stoke. Our defence just kept them under wraps. Not a lot going on. So we're going to move on to this from WhoScored.com. This is the match report. Millwall created a high number of chances relative to their possession, were effective at creating goal scoring opportunities from the flanks, were strong at finishing and dominated aerial duels. We didn't have any weaknesses. Stoke were poor at finishing. I don't know how they say that because they only had 4 shots on goal. And Stoke dominated the aerial duels. Okay, how can both teams dominate the aerial duels? I don't know how that works. But here you go. So Millwall had 13 attempts on goal. Stoke had 4. 5 from open play for Millwall versus 2, and 8 from set pieces versus 2. A lot of set pieces going on, but here you go. So 13 shots for us, 4 for them, 2 goals. That is a 15% conversion rate, which, if you were following my videos last year, is very good for us. We're normally around the 7 or 8 mark, so 15 is absolutely amazing. It is an improvement on last season. This is where we were going mostly down the wings. And Stoke were mostly just going down the left. Maybe they figured Ryan Leonard was a weakness because they thought he was kind of like, because he's not technically, probably they didn't think he was the registered right back, that he was more like a stand-in. So they figured, well, let's have a go at him. But he's played there a lot, and that's basically, if he wants to get in a team, that's where he's playing now, because there's not really a chance for him in the middle. So, and I think he realizes that, and he's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll play there. And he's also playing in the right of a back three as well. So, shot directions, shot zones. Yeah, 85% of ours was inside the box. Action zones and player positions. Wow, okay. So you can see here, we're packing the middle now. One of the things that came up last season was the way that we played allowed teams to pack the midfield and put the pressure on us, but we're doing it now, it seems. You've got Billy Mitchell, George Honeyman, and who is number 16? Who is number 16? Oh, that must be Shackleton, yeah? Yeah. So there you go. You've got 7 and 9, that's Phobia and Bradshaw. Malone out there on his own. And Mario Wallace there as well. So interesting stuff. I mean, you can see with Stoke going down the left mainly, what have Millwall done to counter that? They've got Ryan Leonard and Cresswell bunching up, having to deal with that. That's where they've been playing for most of the game. So that's how they dealt with that. Maybe as well, they didn't realise, they thought Cresswell was like someone who could be got out as well, and which I don't know how they saw that if they haven't watched any pre-season games, especially a Crystal Palace game. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't particularly try and target Charlie Cresswell. So let's move now to here's the match incidents. George Honeyman with the assist to Charlie Cresswell. Yeah, Honeyman's set pieces bang on, bang tidy, very, very good. Charlie Cresswell getting booked. Then Scott Malone with an assist. Charlie Cresswell again. And obviously 76 minutes, 3 substitutions at once. And there you have it. See, if you look at the top, if you look at the top by the club badges, the average player rating for Millwall was 7.12. The average player rating for Stoke was 6.34. We're much better. Our players are rated much better than them. That is a hell of a difference at this level. Nearly a whole point higher. Just under by 0.2. You can see the crowd there, 15,341. Fantastic crowd, especially on a day of a train strike. So these are the ratings. Obviously Cresswell, absolutely man of the match, 9.4. Malone after that, 8.3. And then who have we got? Ryan Leonard, 7.4. Okay, so shots 13-4, we know that. But who had them? Cresswell with 4. And then the forwards getting involved. Honeyman 1, Bradshaw 2, Afobe 2, and Murray Wallace and Malone with 2. Possession wise, they actually have more of the possession than us. 42 to 57. And for Millwall, it was actually the man himself, Cresswell. No, it was Ryan Leonard 5.1 and Cresswell 5% of the whole match possession. And many players for Stoke had more than that. Pass success percentage, not very good for both teams, 60 to 68. But for Millwall, the best was Shackleton with 82. We obviously have to see how many passes that was on, because obviously the subs coming on had high accuracy, but they had less passes. Dribbles 5 to 3. Okay. Aerials 1, 37 to 37. So pretty even there. Cresswell with 7, Bradshaw with 7, Cooper with 6, Leonard with 5. Nice stuff. Tackles 17 to 18, so they had one more tackle than us. But it's that man again. Cresswell with 3, Leonard with 3, Malone with 3. Corners 8-2. Obviously, that's two. Both of the goals came from corners, and these are the players that took the corners. So corners getting shared around between a lot of the players. Dispossessed 9-8. That's basically having the ball taken off of you. Honeyman 3 times. Bradshaw 2. Okay, so we're going to move on now to whoscored.com, but player stats. Basically more of what we've seen, but a little bit better. So there we go. Charlie Cresswell 9.36. Scott Malone 8.29. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players with 7. Including Bart, so not bad. Now, in terms of the substitutes, when the substitutes come on, what score do they get? Do they get a better score than the player they replace? No. The 3 substitutes are the lowest ranked players: 6.02, 6.27, and 6.29, obviously. In terms of touches on the ball, who had the most touches? Scott Malone, Ryan Leonard, Charlie Cresswell. Okay. Offense. Who did what going forward? So shots and shots on target. Shots. Charlie Cresswell 4 shots, 3 of them are on target, and 2 goals. That's why he's man of the match. Murray Wallace 2, none of them were on target. Malone 2 and 1, Bradshaw 2 and 1, Phobie 2 and 0, and Honeyman 1 and 0. So we had 6 players having a shot on goal. Good stuff. Or having a shot. Yeah, so we had 6 players having a shot and only 3 having shots on goal. Who was offside? 3 players offside. Yeah, Billy Mitchell was offside. Calls him Bradshaw's goal to be disallowed. Unscheduled touches, basically poor ball control. Basically most of the team actually. Phobie with 5, Malone with 3. Defensively, who did what? We got tackles, interceptions, clearances, block shots, and fouls given away. So total tackles 3-3-3. We basically got 9 players having tackles. Even Zion Fleming had a tackle when he came on. Interceptions, Charlie Cresswell 3. That's why he's man of the match. Billy Mitchell with 3, Mario Wallace with 3, and then 1-1-1. Clearances, Ryan Leonard, Jay Cooper, Mario Wallace, Jamie Shackleton, and then a few more down to number 8. Block shots, well, there were hardly any because they only had 4 shots, so you can't block shots if they don't actually take any. So let's have a look at the passing. The most passes from Millwall was Charlie Cresswell 36, then Ryan Leonard 34, Billy Mitchell 31, and these passing accuracies are so poor. We normally have one player, which is usually Billy Mitchell, gets into like the 80s, 70, high 70s, low 80s, or sometimes Saville, but these numbers are really poor. We got Jamie Shackleton 81.8 off of 22, and Phobie 76.2 off of 21. So I guess that's not bad. They didn't have the most passes in the game, but that accuracy is pretty decent. In terms of crosses and accurate crosses, Malone 9 and 4, Honeyman 4 and 3, Ryan Leonard 3 and 0, Phobie 2 and 0. So you would say Honeyman, and Honeyman's got it there. Long balls and accurate long balls. So Bart's passing 45. That's not bad for him. It's usually high 20s, low 30s. His goal kicks are not the best, but 18 long balls, 7 of them accurate, just under half. Not bad. Charlie Cresswell half, 12 and 6. Ryan Leonard way down, 10 and 2. Murray Wallace half, 8 and 4. Nick J Cooper 8 and 3. Scott Malone 6 and 3. So interesting. It was Zion Fleming 2 and 2, and he had 5 passes and 100% accuracy, and 2 long balls, two accurate long balls. So didn't have a lot to do, but he did it quite well, it seems. So there you go. That rounds it up for the Millwall stats. Now today I'm going to finish off the video telling you about a player on loan stats, Alex Mitchell. You can see his debut for St Johnstone by going to BBC iPlayer and going to Sports Scene, which is the Scottish Match of the Day, and the one here on the 30th of the 7th. It's on that. It's near the end because it's St Johnstone, and they're not very good. So again, we go back to WhoScored.com. St Johnstone 0, Hibernian 1. I watched the highlights on that sports team program. St Johnstone are absolute pony. They are so bad. They are definitely in a relegation scrap. Yeah, I think they're in a four-way battle with St Mirren, Ross County and Livingston in terms of trying to avoid finishing bottom and being relegated. And even if they finish second from bottom, they still have to go into a playoff with the team, the second team from the league below. So that's not going to be that easy either. So what did Alex Micheal do? No, from the highlights, he cleared a ball he headed it out from it going to a player who, well, Christian Deutsch, I think it was, who probably would have scored. But St Johnstone had man sent off, and they nearly scraped a draw with Hibernian, and Hibernian scored in injury time. So, and it was a player who was standing in front of Alex Micheal who basically went for the ball, and it just kind of hit him in winning the goal. And I think if Alex Micheal would have been in front of him, he would have cleared that, and it would have been good for him. But yeah, this is a really dire situation for Alex Micheal to be in because St Johnstone are so bad. They're playing at home. They had 4 shots all game, and Hibernian had like 14. They were just peppering the goal. And you can see here. So the ratings, yeah, it's already done by ratings. So the best player for St Johnstone 6.81. Alex Micheal down in 9th, 6.18. He had 23 touches of the ball, which is very low down. It's 11th. So he had the least amount of touches of the starting 11, 23, which doesn't really mean that much. I mean, going forward, he didn't do anything. He just had one unscheduled touch. Defensively, in terms of total tackles, he had 1 tackle. He had 0 interceptions. He had 4 clearances, which is quite, like I said, he cleared the cross from coming in. That probably would have been scored. So 4 of them he had. But you look at all these clearances that St Johnstone players had. Absolute, they were completely under the cosh. Like 7, 4, 4, 4, 4. That's like, what is that, like 30 clearances. Like, they really were so bad. I mean, I feel sorry for Alex Micheal. He's in a real bad situation there. Much preferred him go to a team in England, top of League 2. Even would have been better than this. This is their relegation fodder. They're so bad. They have nothing going forward. He didn't have any block shots, and he didn't give away any fouls. Passing wise, so let's sort this by passes. Where is he? Where is he? Did I miss him? Oh, he's there, 15th. So number 8, he had the 8th most passes. 33.3% accuracy off of 7 long balls. Only 1 of them was accurate, so not the best of games. But in terms of, he did okay in terms of watching the game. I was watching the game, but watching him specifically, what he was doing. Like I said, pretty decent. But in terms of St Johnstone, so bad, really bad. Now, to be fair, I mean, I think you could claim that Hibernian are the 3rd best team in the league after Rangers and Celtic, possibly. So to narrowly lose to them, being down to 10 men, and I think Hibernian player had a nasty tackle as well, but they didn't get sent off for some reason. What's that about? But so there you go, Alex Micheal's debut for St Johnstone. Injury time defeat, and he didn't really do anything wrong, but St Johnstone really didn't really do anything at all. So what are you gonna do? And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.